The most valuable thing that you can give to another person is time. There is nothing more valuable than
Authentic
that.
presence.
No amount of gifts can never replace that. Whenever God is blessing you with something, He will not straight away give something to you, especially the chosen ones. He will make you suffer. I went through something very deadly in 2007, and these days it's not limited to any particular age. Even kids who are 8-year-old, they're also facing it. So it is very important for us to talk about it. The kind of things that you see on screen, going, fighting, in real life, I think that's the biggest bullshit. The real strength is if you can be kind to people, if you have the power to understand another person. I think very few people talk about it. Connecting with nature in whichever way. Every human being should go and live in a place which is just nature around. Social media is a necessary evil today, but you must understand that if it's necessary, it's also very evil. You have to choose between the two.
All your fans know by now that you're a phenomenal singer.
I would sing because I could sing.
So you're not really trained as a singer as a kid?
No, I've never trained.
If your soul had a theme song, what would it be? Our guest here today is way more than a guest. He's a dear old friend, a spiritual soul brother of mine. You know him as a phenomenal actor, an outstanding singer, a man with a big golden heart, walking the talk. I see him as an inspiration. I see what he brings to people's lives, and I love him for his wisdom and his immaculate, authentic presence. So please welcome the one and only Sudhanshu Pandey to the Full Circle.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you.
Brother, thank you. This has also been a long time coming.
Also, I think it is such kind words. I think one of the best introductions I've had. And probably is because you are giving that introduction straight from the heart.
Of course, everything from the heart. And that's why we are here today, to just open our hearts and talk and share. And it's been a long time coming, this meeting also. I've been wanting to do this with you in whatever capacity, to sit and talk. We don't get much time when I'm here in Bombay. But I keep following you, and I never see the work actually, because I don't get Indian television there, so I never see work. I see snippets on YouTube and everything, but I follow everything else, your life, your family, your spiritual journey, everything is there in my heart, So brother, how does peace of mind look like for you these days? What is keeping you sane?
I always knew that peace of mind is definitely a possibility. It is something that has become invaluable in today's times. And I think no amount of work, no amount of money, no amount of your social network, no amount of your connections can bring that to you. The only thing that can bring peace of mind to you is your surrender to something that is up there. So I think I found my peace of mind about 2 decades ago. And I think हिंदी में एक शब्द है प्रारब्ध बोला जाता है उसे. तो मुझे लगता है ये प्रारब्ध था कि I went through something very, very, very deadly in 2007 when I had a panic attack, and I had no idea what had happened to me, what hit me. Suddenly, in the middle of a conversation with a friend of mine, sitting in an outdoor cafe on a terrace, and we were just discussing some stuff, and suddenly, something burst inside me, and I was all over the place. I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't know where to go.
And there was no reference point at all.
There was zero reference point because we had no awareness at all. And to my disadvantage, the doctors also didn't know what was happening. Nobody had an idea because my friend rushed me to the hospital. He rushed me to the doctor. Everywhere. While I felt that I was just going to die any second, and because everything was shivering, shaking, and all the muscles were all over the place, and I couldn't breathe beyond this point. So when that happened, I was chronically depressed in a matter of few seconds. It's like, you go into depression slowly.
This existential
but
sadness.
This
right?
was like, somebody shoots a bullet,
bam,
and in a second you're gone. It's not like a slow death. So when that happened, everything turned dark around me. It's like somebody switched off the light suddenly around you in the middle of the day. And so that happened, and during that period of, so it took me about 4 years to come out of it. And a good thing is I didn't use any medication to come out of it. I used absolute surrender to the Almighty, trying to connect with myself, with my conscience. जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि आत्म मंथन जो होता है, वो आत्म मंथन मैंने उस समय में किया. उस 4 साल में मैंने वो आत्म मंथन किया और इतना किया कि सब कुछ बदल गया मेरा.
And I remember that time when you were consumed by that. Your spiritual calling came so, it's like how the panic attack came out of nowhere, and with that intensity. And I think your spiritual calling at that time, I remember you were
absolutely.
You were just in. Suddenly you were consumed, and that was your life. You had a, and see how amazing. Even that is grace. This is also grace.
So I feel, of course, it is grace, but I also feel that I'm the chosen one.
Yeah,
Ronnie, because I feel that whenever God is blessing you with something, He will not straight away give something to you, especially the chosen ones. He will make you suffer.
Yeah, earn it.
He'll make you suffer so that you understand the value of the existence around you.
Yeah.
And at a very deeper level, right? I feel lucky that I went through it, because those 4 years changed a lot in me.
Tell me, what are those tangible changes that you can describe?
So I was always very kind-hearted, I would say. But I think a lot of thought and contemplation was added to it.
Self-inquiry.
After that and or during that. And also, I think the inward journey that I had around that time. The inward journey was absolutely, that is like an enlightenment, I would say that, it's like जब महात्मा बुद्ध साधना में बैठे होंगे आंखें बंद करके बोधि ट्री के नीचे, तो एक दिन इतनी साधना, कई सालों की साधना के बाद सडनली उनकी आंखें खुली होंगी with enlightenment, right?
Sure.
That's what happened to me, I think, in those 4 years.
Like an awakening.
Because that is when I got in touch with my conscience. अपनी आत्मा के साथ touch में आदमी तभी आता है. Because the world vanished around me, right? And for me, in simple words, I was left alone. In spite of having everyone around, I was alone. It was as lonely as it can get. It's complete darkness around you. You're standing all alone. Only you yourself to talk to. So I think that is what I did. I think I had the opportunity to talk to myself.
Do you attribute a lot of it to were you always a person with a lot of willpower?
I have always been, and I will always be, and I think that is what pulled me through this as well. But willpower in me is not by itself. It's a byproduct of my surrender to Mahakal.
I think that you need that
It's an
fundamental
anchor.
willpower
Yeah.
also to surrender.
Yeah, it's an anchor where I think, while I was just going down and down and down, and suddenly it got stuck there, and that's where Mahakal's hand came,
Just
held.
you.
And from there everything started turning around. पूजा पाठ में करता था, वैसे भी करता था उससे पहले. But from that time it just started to turn around from there, and a slow turnaround. Everything started to clear out. And I think in 4 years' time, I was like out of it completely. I also started realizing that I think I've become a better person than I was earlier.
That's the gift.
Yeah,
That
is the gift. And I think I became a better actor than I was. I became a better observer than I was. I started valuing a lot of things around me, a lot more than I did. Or even if I did, I didn't probably know or realize it. But that realization came with that, with that whole thing. And I think it's just the clarity about everything.
Yeah, the quality of
Yeah.
presence. This is something I've always noticed about you. Like, even and I've seen you with people, or not people who admire you, or just a casual meeting with somebody at a party who's saying nice things about you. And I've seen you engage. This is one of your finest qualities, that you really engage. Even for those 3 seconds, you're looking that person in the eye, and you're giving your full attention, and you're present. this I lack a lot. I mean, I know so many friends also in the industry, and
Mm.
not everyone is very present,
Yeah.
because it's a very wild, it's a distractive kind of industry also.
Because I personally believe that I think the most valuable thing that you can give to another person is time. There is nothing more valuable than
Authentic
that.
presence.
No amount of
yeah.
gifts can ever replace that. So if you give, even if it's 2 minutes, give it genuinely.
Give it fully, yeah. What else is
You
there
know?
to do? Exactly.
Yeah.
And it touches people,
and
it
that's
really
what
touches
people remember, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And brother, you played many powerful male characters in your career. I want to know what real strength feels like for you.
I think the kind of things that you see on screen, going and fighting and all that machismo.
Yeah, the brash masculinity. Yeah.
I think that is in real life. I think that's the biggest bullshit. The real strength is if you can be kind to people, if you have the power to understand another person or their pain,
with empathy.
With empathy, and I think that is real strength of any man.
Absolutely. And it also, some of the, when I talk about vulnerability in the context of strength right now, you embrace vulnerability in a very beautiful way, in a very natural way.
Yeah.
You started within 2 minutes, you went into the darkest period of your life, and you have no qualms talking about it. And I know that you've shared this before as well. And I think it sounds like a cliche, but I think that vulnerability is also a fantastic. That's also one of your biggest strengths. I think,
it is. It's a very big strength, and because I know I have it and I can speak about it, I have the strength to talk about it. I always do, because there's a lot of people out there who may need this kind of strength.
Yeah.
Or something that I say or talk about could help them identify.
Just spark something.
Just spark something. Just trigger something for the better in them. And these days, it's not limited to any particular age. Even kids who are 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, they're also facing it. Some form of anxiety or anxiousness, or some form of depressive, behavior. So it is very important for us to talk about it.
Yeah. Why is it happening, brother? Tell me why. What is your take on this? Why is that age reducing? What is going on?
Complexity of life, I think, because there is too much of everything in the world now.
Overload.
Too much of everything. Too much of information. Too much of competition. Too much of pressure. Too much to study. Too much to achieve. People are just out there in a race.
Without even realizing.
Without even knowing or realizing the value of the time that you have in your hand. And I feel very sad when I see people passing away at such young age these days, where they're studying, preparing, or out there,
burning out.
One day gone. So they're burnt out so much.
So early.
And so early in their lives that it's, you lose the meaning of life completely. So I think it's very important for us to start slowing down.
Yeah, containing our lives a little more.
Very important to slow down.
Yeah.
One very important thing I feel to do is in today's life is to connect with nature. I think very few people talk about it, but I think connecting with nature in whichever way, even if it's like once in 6 months, I think every human being should go and live in a place which is just nature around, or maybe just a jungle. Just the sound, the silence, the air, the energy from the nature. We have no idea how much it can heal you, and detox you without you even coming to know about it.
Correct.
But you come back saying that, my God, I feel rejuvenated. And you don't know why. It's because you have been in the nature. And that is where we all belong.
Yes. That is, we reconnect with our self-nature, Swaroop.
So,
and I'm glad you're saying this. This is a subject very close to my heart, because, I live in Denmark, in the heart of nature. I'm very blessed. And if that move did not happen, say 20 years ago, I'm sure I would have been living up in the mountains somewhere. I was fortunate to grow up in the forest. My dad was in the forest department. So we grew up in the jungles with elephants. And
there you go. Yeah.
And sometimes I forget to appreciate how blessed I am to be in the nature, because it's right there. We step out and I walk on the grass and I work with the plants, and we have trees and gardens and deer running around in the garden and little pheasants flying around. It's there, it's right there. One thing that, people, I feel that when they say that, oh, I want to go live closer to nature, we have forgotten that we are nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, you can go and live close to a forest. You can live close to 3 more trees, but you've forgotten that you are nature itself. The fact that we feel that we have to connect with nature alone means that we have disconnected with our own nature, right? So this is very important what you're saying right now. Then I wish for so many of our viewers to really take this seriously. Just find your way. Get to know the moon all over again. See what phase the moon is in today.
Absolutely.
When do the tides come? People live by the sea. They don't know how the tides are working. That basic connection is not there. So thank you for bringing that up.
I think it's very important for all of us to start understanding this before it's too late.
Before it's too late, absolutely. Coming to something else, actually, your industry, okay, and you're in the heart of the industry, thrives a lot on external validation. How does one keep it real? How do you keep it real? How do you keep it authentic?
I think a lot of it comes from the life that I've lived. A lot of wisdom comes from there. Guru Purnima pe ya Teachers Day pe, I wish life happy Teachers Day, because I think it's the best teacher.
Sweet.
And I think it's very important to understand what social media is.
Yes.
I look at it as a tool, which for me is only important for either putting my work out there so that people know what is happening professionally, or if I have to connect with my audiences to send out a message or share an information with them. But I have no inclination in putting something out there to get appreciation.
There you go. Yeah.
And be hungry for कि कितने likes आए, कितना ये हुआ कि नहीं.
Ego massage.
I mean, I do look at it, but I'm not. It's not like अगर नहीं है तो I'll say यार लोगों को पसंद नहीं है. So I don't look for that validation.
That's right.
At all.
Yeah.
Because that is it's not real. Nothing is real. Social media is not real.
Right.
Social media is something that is a necessary evil today. But you must understand that if it's necessary, it's also very evil. You have to choose between the two. So I choose the necessary. I don't choose the evil.
Fantastic. Yeah, you choose the necessary and you can leave out the stuff that is not serving us. Yeah, because it is all consuming. And one of my favorite moments in your social media handle, on Instagram actually, is when you sometimes in the night wearing your little beanie hat, stand in one corner and you sing your little song. Now this is the thing with you. One of the most endearing parts of you is that not people, I think almost all your fans know by now that you're a phenomenal singer, and you had a flourishing career in music as well, right? And I can see that it's coming back, right? You are really
coming back. Yeah.
Back into music with the same gang or what?
With the same gang.
Tell us the journey of music. Let's talk about music for a little while.
Okay, so it was, I think it was probably 99, 2000 probably. When this friend of mine, Karan Oberoi, he was always an actor, model and everything. So we were friends and we happened to be neighbors at that time, And one day he calls me and he says कि भाई मैं ना अपना सोलो एल्बम बनाने जा रहा था, बट वो बात में we chanced upon this idea कि how about creating a boy band. So I had a question mark on my face and he said कि boy band is where you have a set of boys who look good, wear good clothes and sing and
they
dance.
can dance well and they can
sing and dance. I said अच्छा, बोला तू
करेगा?
मैंने कहा पागल हो गया क्या, मुझे कोई गाना थोड़ी आता है. बोला trust me, you sing well. So till that time, I had no idea.
Oh, so you're not really trained as a singer as a kid?
No, I've never trained.
Okay,
I still haven't
didn't
trained.
know that.
So I've never trained.
Fantastic.
So I would sing because I could sing, because I would listen to some song. कोई भी गाना सुनता था, मैं गाने लगता था. That is all I knew. I didn't ever think that my singing would be liked by people who can sing because they feel I can sing well. So I've never trained. I never trained earlier. I never trained after. I was always someone who would hear a song and would sing it, without knowing कि जो मैं गा रहा हूँ वो शायद दूसरों को भी अच्छा लग रहा है, वो बचपन में तो क्या है वो टिपिकल इंडियन फैमिलीज कि वो गाना गाता तो माँ बाप ने बोला बेटा वो गाना सुना दे, चलो अंकल को गाना सुनाओ, अंकल को गाने, है ना। तो वैसे ही चलता था तो हम लोग वो होते थे चाबी वाले टॉय भर देते, मम्मी पापा भर देते और हम लोग क्या वो सब करते थे। तो बस उतना ही किया था। आई मीन दैट्स द ओनली परफॉर्मेंस दैट आई गेव ऑल माय लाइफ till Karan actually made me realize that maybe I should think about it, because when there was a little audition kind of thing that happened with that gentleman, and the audition was taken by Leslie Lewis and Hari Haran.
Oh. And they were coming up with colonial cousins
and they were colonial cousins already.
Yeah.
And the legendary Hari Haran bhai, उन्होंने बोला कि कुछ गा के सुनाओ, तो मैंने गा दिया। तो जैसे ही कुछ गाया बोले आजा आजा तू आजा। तो that's the time I felt कि यार नहीं, मतलब हाँ कि कुछ तो दम होगा जो हर इंसान बोल रहा है कि मैं गा लेता हूँ। So from there the journey started, and then we worked very hard for about 17 months. We trained before we were launched as a band, and once we came out, there was not much attention, but then suddenly when the song came out independently, it became so viral.
It became huge at that time.
My God. And at that time when there was nothing to do with
there was MTV,
virality,
yeah, exactly.
It became viral, right? Yeah. Everywhere it was playing. And that's it. And then the next big thing in the country was a band of boys, and we were performing on every stage, nationally, internationally, everywhere. And that's it. And then 3.5 years down the line, we had made one feature film also with the band की कहानी बनाई थी। बहुत गंदी फिल्म बनी थी, मत देखना।
Okay. Now we'll definitely watch it. Suddenly that film is gonna get a few million views now.
That's how I'm selling it actually. So Eros had released it finally, and it got delayed also in release and everything. But उसका भी album हम लोगों ने खुद produce किया था. We composed and produced the songs, and it was phenomenal. We recorded in Empire Studio. We had live.
Fantastic. What an experience, man.
Unbelievable. And we had Tawfiq Qureshi, and we had all those
masters.
Masters playing for us, and we created a beautiful album. But film वाकई में बहुत वाहियात थी, मत देखना क्योंकि उसमें से एक्टर नहीं था कोई, other than a few of us. But how much could we handle also? So after that I opted out of the band, because obviously it was not economically viable for me to stay in it. Yeah. Considering I had already had a child by that time, and
of course Nirvan was born.
Yeah. And obviously मेरी बीवी ने बोला कि क्या कर रहे हो यार, you had a flourishing career as an actor, you've given all that up, you've been in this band, it's not giving you anything.
But aren't you glad you did it also for the
Oh man, I'm telling you, everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
Everything. So then now I have, after so many years, we met, we decided chalo, and I said ki let's start making music, together once again. And I have a very strong feeling that I think we are going to hit it bigger than ever now. And we are working on things which...
And everyone's more mature and more grounded,
and the time is right.
Time is right. And you'll inspire a whole new generation of
yes,
this, because
absolutely.
This hasn't happened since then.
Absolutely.
It hasn't happened since
then.
So, okay, so one is this obvious love for music. I mean, when you say that you did not train and you just loved singing, right? And you love singing. That's why you're standing in the night with your beanie and singing a little song. Do you see music as healing for you?
Absolutely. I think it is one of the best form of art. I would say it is probably the best form of art.
Art of the heart, actually.
Yeah. And it can really heal you, make so much of a difference in your life. It's incomparable, I think. Absolutely. I think music can be the best healer.
Do you have is there a song that's your go-to song, the way you reconnect with yourself, which captures, your spirit?
There are loads of them.
Loads of them.
There are loads of them. In fact, when I was growing up, I would, my father was a huge Kishore Da guy, कि किशोर कुमार की आवाज है, मर्दों वाली आवाज है,
open voice, they used to say, open voice,
sounds like a man, Correct. So I grew up on R.D. Burman and Kishore Kumar songs, but there was a very amazing change as I grew older. I started liking Mohammed Rafi a lot. Now I don't know whether it was my better understanding of music as I grew up, that I started to like Mohammed Rafi in the way I do now. I think he was phenomenal. Earlier I used to be Asha Bhosle on top, but then I started understanding Lata Mangeshkar, and then I realized, oh my God, क्या लोग हैं ये लोग यार, ये लोग क्या हैं, ये पैदा कैसे हुए, you know, and would there ever be another?
Yeah, there were celestial beings. I think when you
completely,
completely, like the Gandharvas, you know,
completely,
and it's so inspiring because when you think about it, I'm trying to, like, for me, the angle is I try to connect everything back to source, to silence, to the pure nature of human beings, you know. And when you look at these people who are definitely gifted, but look at their levels of awareness when you listen to somebody sing. And I remember during the pandemic, I used to hear your little videos, you know, when you're singing. And I'm looking for that perfect pitch which you have, you know, you don't realize it, you know, and the little reverb in that hall. And it shows awareness. And for me, the music, I make music myself, and I see what it does to you, how it connects you back to yourself in the sweetest, most natural way. That itself is the healing. Music comes from silence, it takes you back into the silence, right? So do you have a line for us? I don't even want to force you, but you know, I know your fans want to hear you, and it'll be beautiful to just hear you sing a couple of lines if you feel like it.
Band song?
Anything you want, whatever your heart wishes.
चाहा तुझे है जहां से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, पालो तुझे तो पालू जग सारा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार, हो याद है वो नदिया किनारे, पनिया भरन को आना, लहरों की हरकत पे गोरी, हल्के से वो घबराना, नाजुक पैरों का तेरे एकदम से फिसल जाना, मेरी बाहों में तेरा गिरना, धीरे से शर्माना, चाहा तुझे है जहां से भी ज्यादा, तू ही मेरा प्यार गोरी, तू ही मेरा प्यार.
And with that, we'll have like 500,000 new followers, mostly ladies. That's a good thing. To sing today. They are like, oh my God, beautiful. Thank you, bro. That's so good.
Thank you.
I wanted to touch upon. So nice. I wasn't expecting this, but I always wanted to ask you to have a little moment with the song. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Tell me about fatherhood. Tell me what has that, the impact of that. I have gone through that myself. I want to hear your story with the children and how it has helped you grow as a man.
I think the first thing that comes with becoming a father is responsibility. And I think that is very important. That's a very important aspect of a human being's life. Being responsible.
Yeah.
Whether it is for a loved one, it could be your kids, it could be your dogs, it could be your wife, it could be your mother, father, brother, sister, anybody. That sense of responsibility makes you a lot more of a man than you are, you know. So I think that is what happened with me. You become so much of a man when you become a father. And that's when you realize what manhood means, actually, you know. So there was so much in me that I didn't know when my kids were born, both my boys. मैंने उनकी लंगोटियाँ बदली हैं, उनको फीड भी किया है, उनको वो ऐसे ऐसे करके वो बर्प कराते हैं वो भी किया है, उनके डाइपर्स भी बदले हैं, पॉटियाँ साफ़ करी हैं, सुसु साफ़ किया है, कॉन्स्टिपेट हुए तो वो वैक्स डाल के उनको पॉटी करवाया है. I've done everything that a mother can. Other than breastfeeding, मैंने सब कुछ किया, you know. So I think that is something that I feel that is what a man should be all about, you know, and because that's something that it really takes a lot.
I hope the men are picking it up because, you know, where I live, Denmark, of course, this is given.
Yeah.
Like the men have to do all of this. We have no choice, right? We have no other support, and it's seen as a very. I pulled my kids out of when they were born, literally, both of them, and but it's not the same here. So when you say this is a rarity. Right, and I really hope that this kind of goes out because this is that the bond that you have with your children, you know,
Yeah.
and I get to hear it from our friends who visit you regularly. Deepthi being one of them. Deepthi says, "Oh, you have to see the boys. What beautiful boys they become. What a deep value system they carry. The
God is
level
very
of politeness
Yeah.
and that connection, that respect. It comes from that deep connection that is established from the time they're born. That you've done these things with them. And how are they doing actually right now? Where are they?
They're fantastic. Nirvan, my older one, he's pursuing to be an actor. He writes stories as well. He's just produced, directed, written, and acted in a short film. It's called The Invisible Bond. Yeah. It's a beautiful short of about 4.5 minutes. It's a supernatural story. And he sent it to whatever festivals he could, and he won about 6 awards.
Fantastic.
So, which I'm very proud of. He's not, because he thinks he could have done so much better.
That's very good. That means he will do so much better.
Good. He doesn't think, but I said, listen, for me, this is,
very good.
I could have never thought at your age to be able to do something like this, you know. We were absolutely
flabbergasted.
We were dumbasses.
We
were dumbasses at that age.
That time,
we had no idea whether we were coming or going, you know, at that age. कहाँ हूँ मैं कैसा हूँ वैसा वाला चलता था, you know. You know, कहीं भी नई जगह पे जाते थे. अभी आजकल kids walk in anywhere with so much of
they own the space.
Complete confidence and like you know, you belong there. हम लोग तो खो जाते थे, you know, तो squeeze होके ऐसे हो जाते थे कि भाई कहाँ आ गए. कोई बहुत धीरे धीरे करके टांगे खुलती थी और फिर ऐसे होते थे, confidence धीरे धीरे. So this is a different generation altogether, and I think there's so much to learn from them also. And the younger one, Vivan,
you told me he wants to be a chef.
He wants to be a chef, and he decided very early in age. I think he was around 12, 13 when he decided that, because thanks to COVID, we were all locked up inside. So the only thing he had in his hand was YouTube, and he started picking up these
little
recipes on YouTube, and whenever we went out with our masks and everything to buy all the grocery, कि अब अगले 15 दिन की grocery लानी है, you know, because we were locked up, right? So we would go out, you know, keeping that window in mind, and then Vivan would tell us, ये चाहिए, I want to bake. So we were also taking it casually, करेगा, time pass करता रहेगा घर में, you know. But he actually started baking, and he baked cookies which were this big, chocolate cookies, and they were brilliant. I said, wow.
So good.
I said, is this for real? कैसे बना लिया यार?
But this is such a good sign when these things happen, when the kids flourish naturally, and find it comes from a place of safety and security. This is the value of a family where the child feels completely safe, seen, heard. So it goes much deeper than this. It's not just about finding your passion. This can only thrive in a situation like that.
Absolutely, you know? So right.
And you're supporting it, and full blessings to both of them. Beautiful. Thank you. Tell me, what is the one thing that you're still learning about yourself?
I think as a human being, not much. I think I've understood myself quite a lot as a human being. I know my limitations, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, most of them, I think. What I'm learning is, as an actor, I think I learn something every now and then.
As an actor?
As an actor. Because that is a very essential part of me, you know, because my mind is always, it's like a reel, you know, it's constantly churning something or the other. And I believe I have a very strong creative mind, and I believe that I have a great understanding of scripts and stories. So as an actor, after, like I said, you know, with all that period of 4 years when I was in the dark space, I came out a person who was much wiser, not just wiser, but also with a far deeper understanding of emotions. And it became so much more easier for me to touch upon a sentiment or an emotion after that period. So suddenly it was like a lottery for me. You know, it was like a lottery for me as an actor.
The sensitivity just opened up.
Suddenly everything that I could have probably taken an entire lifetime to understand. I understood in those 4 years. It was unreal.
What a gift.
What a gift it was. So that is why I say I was supposed to go through it.
Yeah.
He wanted me to become what I became.
For
you know?
sure. There's no other way.
So yes. So I think I'm learning. As an actor, I keep learning every day. There's so much to learn. It's infinite.
Infinite.
Yeah. That
Beautiful.
journey is infinite.
Beautiful. That brings me to a section. You know, all these talk shows and everything, they have the little rapid fire round.
Yeah.
I don't want to do rapid fire. That sounds very stressful. I don't want to do rapid fire. So Mandy came up with this name. It's the Full Circle Spiritual Sprints. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions. You can have one-word answers, one-line answers. You want to elaborate, you can go ahead.
Sure.
So here's a set of 10 questions. Small ones, okay? Mostly spiritual types. If your soul had a theme song, what would it be?
I don't know if I can call it a song, but it's a jap that I do, which is the most powerful Bij mantra. Om Namah Shivaya.
That would have been my next question.
Oh, really?
My next question
Well,
would have been
I can tell you more.
one mantra that instantly lifts your spirit.
Yeah, it is.
Same
Om
answer.
Namah Shivaya.
Of course. And I knew this would be your answer.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I'm sure you would have guessed it.
Of course. Great. I've covered 2 questions in one. All right. If you could have a nice strong coffee like you had right now, with any spiritual teacher, past or present, who would it be?
I think it would have been Neem Karoli Baba. I really feel that I would have loved to actually
hang out with him,
meet him, and just be in his presence. I somehow feel that there was something very special about it.
It's amazing you mentioned, because he's been in my field the last few months, just constantly popping up. And we'll talk about this, and invariably I'll run into a book.
Something.
He pops up.
Something
like
related to him.
Neem Karoli Baba.
Neem Karoli.
Yeah, 1 cup of tea with him.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the most unexpected place where you found peace?
I think it would be my mind.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Very short, precise,
Yeah.
correct answer.
Correct answer.
Am I?
For me, definitely.
Where else can you find it?
Yeah.
Correct. Good. One thing that you do daily that feels like a spiritual practice.
I think it's just existing in the world on a daily basis, being in touch with my conscience.
Life itself, just living.
And being in touch.
Beautiful. What is your best quality? I can come up with a list of 50 best qualities. What is you think is your best quality?
I would say my best quality is knowing I don't have a best quality. Because it's not in me to say this is my best quality. So that is my best
And
quality.
humility is also one of your best qualities.
No. But I genuinely feel so. I mean, I don't think as a human being I have anything to boast about.
Yeah, great. Just being an instrument of
Because
service.
that's it. Because we're all humans in the end, and there's nothing that I can say this is my best quality.
Beautiful. What is the one thing you do not like about yourself?
I think I would say, although I consider this my strength, but I sometimes find myself weakening with emotions a lot. So I think that is something that I can get a little more control over.
The fact that you're even objective about it, that you can see it,
Yes,
that itself is the healing, the balance,
course,
right? Yeah, beautiful. Okay, if there was a movie made about your life, what would it be called?
I don't find myself worthy yet of reaching that point where I would say, but if at all I were to even name a film, I would say Life, the Best Teacher. That is what I would say. I would call it.
Great. What does Sudhanshu know today that he didn't know 5 years ago?
That I'd be 50.
Big boys club now.
Yeah.
Both of us, huh?
Yeah.
That's great. Of course, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't make it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. The last question for this series, and then I'll come back to a few. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
For my work, for sure. Definitely. In the world, in people's mind, I would love to be remembered for my work, which I'm hoping would create a lasting impact, something that people could look up to.
That would be your legacy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You have successfully passed the spiritual sprints. I can of course go on, brother, but I will not take too much of your time. Maybe one or two small questions if I might have missed anything.
No problem.
What is the one message that you would love to leave for the people who are struggling in silence, who are struggling with their mental health and quietly? What is your one message for them?
To not be quiet, most important. Because we all need to understand that every human being that exists or is living is suffering somewhere or the other.
Yes.
There is a lot of suffering that we go through. And we must learn to speak about it because it is the most important thing. It's like when you bottle something up, one day the cork is going to fly and it'll burst. It is important that you keep speaking about any suffering that you have, especially mental. If you have any issues, if you feel sadness, if you feel discomfort, if you feel any angst or anger, or anxiety, anxiousness about anything in life, generally, you must keep speaking about it, because when you keep speaking about it, you are not going to collect it inside you and make it chronic enough to make you depressive, right? Because somewhere, collecting all that is creating नेगेटिव एनर्जी, जिसको हम लोग नकारात्मक ऊर्जा बोलते हैं, वो अंदर पैदा होती रहती है. सो यू हैव टू कीप टॉकिंग अबाउट इट, लर्न टू स्पीक अबाउट इट, स्पेशली पीपल विद स्लाइटली anxiety issues or people who can't find happiness in doing anything. Whatever they do, they are not happy. They must speak about it. Because sometimes we forget that we deserve to be happy. We
That's
deserve
a fundamental birthright.
It's the most basic right of your existence,
Yes.
or your.
It is who you are.
It is who you are. We should be, and we must be happy. And if we are not, we must talk about it, and maybe somebody can guide you towards that light where you can find happiness.
Yes.
You don't deserve to suffer. Nobody deserves to suffer. Nobody deserves to be in that state of mind. If it happens to you, talk about it. Talk about it openly.
That is so, please, break the silence.
Yeah,
just
break the silence. Go talk to your parents, talk to your brother. If they don't understand, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But speak to somebody. Don't keep it inside you. The most important thing is, and trust me, because I've gone through it, I know, even when I spoke to somebody for 10 minutes about it, I would feel like I've released some
years
major,
of,
So it is very important to speak about it. All the pent-up emotions make you go crazy. You don't need to do it. You don't deserve it. Just speak about it.
Yeah, this was one of the fundamental compasses for guidance for us when we were creating the full circle. You know that, and to just be good listeners.
Yeah.
We have a phone number.
Yeah.
Please call, talk, at least talk. Start the process. It's the most difficult part, of course, for most people.
Most people. I think even, I would maybe give you an advice on this, that even if you have people who are therapists or whoever, I'm saying even those therapists, even if they are not speaking anything, they're not giving any
Just
advice,
listening.
Just listen. Let the person speak. Let them empty themselves. Just listening to them will help them leaps and bounds.
Thank you for that. I will take that into consideration.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
I know how important that is. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I just want to thank you, my dear, dear brother. Thank you for responding so heartfully to the call. Thank
Always.
you for taking time out from your very busy schedule and just showing up just the way you are. It's just a joy to have you. You light up the room. You light up the hearts of people that you touch, and it's our absolute honor and privilege to have you with us. And I hope, I know the full circle is going to grow. This circle is an ever-expanding circle, and now you are a deep integral part of this family.
With someone like you at the helm, I think, because I must tell everybody that, I've known Ronnie for many, many years.
They know me as Satyadev Burman. You know me as Ronnie.
No, that's Satyadev Burman. I've known Satyadev Burman for a very long time, many, many years. And I know one thing for sure, that he's one of the purest souls I've come across, I've never seen him not smile, or never seen him not had the ability to make the other people smile. And whenever I speak to him, there's always a smile and there is a instant surge of positive energy. And I think that is why I feel that you are blessed, and you'll always bless everybody around, whoever is in touch with you or within your energy field.
You are very kind, and thank you for saying that. And I love you, and thank you for this.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. Thank you.
Jai Mahakal, Jai Mahakal.